Right then, what's happening, guys? So as I'm sure you've all heard, Newcastle United are closing in on the signing of Italian international Sandro Tonali for a fee in the region of 70 million euros. I've got to be honest, when I first heard this news last night, my jaw dropped down to my fucking knees because aside from being an incredibly talented footballer, Tonali is also a boyhood Milan fan. His father is an ultra who took his son to games at the San Siro since he was 9 years old. In fact, it was only last year when Tonali announced, "I know what I went through to get here, and I'd never make the mistake of leaving. I'm living my dream at Milan." Needless to say, any words coming out of a footballer's mouth need to be taken with a pinch of salt, but I don't think this situation is anything like Donnarumma's, who forced his way out of Milan for the riches of PSG despite the former's repeated attempts to keep him. Instead, I believe the club are in a bit of a pickle financially, and have no choice but to cash in on one of their most prized assets in order to remain sustainable, much to the horror of their fan base. That's not to say Tonali didn't have an input into his next destination either. If it was all about money, he would have fucked off to Saudi Arabia right now while the iron's hot. But quite clearly, a sporting project at a Premier League club with an incredible fan base is the best option for a player his age. Not to mention that Tonali had initially arrived at Milan on loan and struggled big time in his first year. So much so that the club let their option to sign him permanently expire, only for Tonali to renegotiate a deal which saw him take a big pay cut, which says everything you need to know about both his character as well as motivations within the game. For those of you unaware, this kid has been the talk of town in Italy since he was 17. Given his long brown hair, oversized jersey, position on the pitch and nationality, many a person labelled him as the next Andrea Pirlo, another midfielder who began his career at Brescia. However, this was a mischaracterization at best and pure laziness at worst, because unlike Pirlo, Tonali stood out for his athleticism above all else. In this current Milan side, he's the player who covers the most distance across the pitch by an absolute country mile, which will be music to the ears of Eddie Howe, who's looking for footballers that fit into a high-pressing, energetic system. While Tonali can bring an element of control to proceedings, he isn't quite the playmaker some make him out to be. Instead, you'll often find him attacking the space with possession to push his team forward, or making off-the-ball runs between centre-halves to drag opposition defenders out of position. Equally, should fullbacks push higher up the pitch, Tonali has the positional awareness to drop deep and cover for them while simultaneously giving himself time to pick out passes in behind. In turn, this allows him to play the ball into the feet of forwards with a quick vertical release, which turns defense into attack in the blink of an eye. Personally, I can't see him operating anywhere but the base of Newcastle's midfield in a 4-3-3 formation, and the thought of him linking up with Bruno Guimaraes is tantalizing to say the least. Aside from being two-footed and excellent off set pieces, Tonali's end product has also come on leaps and bounds over the last 2 years. While he registered no goals or assists in his first year at Milan, he notched up 5 goals and 3 assists in 2022, while improving on that tally with 2 goals and 10 assists in 2023, which just goes to show you that this is a player who's only going to get better moving forward. He's actually about to captain Italy at this month's Under-21s championship, and for someone that played a key role in breaking Milan's 11-year title-less duck, that's yet another marker of somebody who has their ego in check. Overall, this is a phenomenal signing and one which highlights that Newcastle aren't just looking at big names, but rather young talents that fit well into their philosophy at this moment in time. To end, here's a couple of quotes on Tonali by former legends of the game. First up, Francesco Totti, who stated, "Tonali will become one of the world's best midfielders. He has everything a great player needs. Technically gifted, strong mentality and sharpness in any situation. He boasts the passing range of Pirlo and grit strength as well as pressing ability of Gattuso." Next, Andrea Pirlo himself, who claimed, "Tonali has everything to be a champion. He should already be playing for a great team. He's the best in the league and much more complete than I ever was, especially defensively." There's no doubt in my mind at all that Newcastle are landing themselves an absolute gem here, and I look forward to seeing how he fares at St. James's Park. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next one, folks. Peace.